Hi everyone, Silver Joker here. Okay, so beginning October 1st, we no longer have to pay the 7% sales tax on bullion, physical bullion. That change occurred here July 1st. I'm not sure exactly what went on, so I went down to talk to my local coin store owner, Phil. You guys are very familiar with him if you watch my channel at all. So I'm sure he will be able to clear that up for us and tell us exactly what happened and how that's going to benefit us. And also I picked up some of the new Type 2 American Silver Eagle. So if you're interested to see any of that, stick around. Okay, so what we came down here for, what I want to know is, the governor, we don't have to pay sale tax anymore. 7% sale tax is gone. Could you explain a little bit about what happened there?
Yeah, 2 years ago, Ohio's on a 2-year budget system where they pass a budget and it's effective basically for 2 years. Mm-hmm. And thank you.
That's awesome.
It was in the last budget. A couple representatives during the last budget session, they decided to include it in the budget and start taxing bullion in Ohio. It was off again, on again. It was basically off from 1989 up through 2005. They reinstituted tax on bullion in 2005. They took it back off again, and then in 2019 they reinstated it. But regardless, it had the potential of being line item vetoed last time it was in the budget. The governor could have vetoed it. He did not, so we had to live with that for 2 years. When the budget was rewritten for the next 2 years, the coming 2 years, a couple of the representatives decided that they should look at that line and say, whether or not it should be included in the new budget. So this was not separate legislation that was specifically looking at bullion and coins. They just decided not to include it in the renewal of the budget.
Oh, I see. So he didn't actually get rid of it.
No, he signed the new budget and it did not include tax on bullion.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was not aware of that. I thought pressure was put on him and he just decided I'm going to do away with it. But
yeah, I mean, as much as it's important to us and the people involved in the industry, honestly, it's probably just a speck on the wall to them in terms of looking at it and what, obviously they want as much tax revenue as they can. Every state does, but there's been studies to show that once you start taxing bullion in particular states, you lose tax, you lose payroll taxes, you lose other types of taxes that the stores would normally get on taxable items that they sold along with the bullion. Payroll taxes are lower because usually employment diminishes in businesses where they have less sales.
Right.
A lot of businesses move out of state. So overall, taxing bullion, there's been studies to show that tax on bullion actually hurts states more than it helps them. The additional tax they bring in on bullion is actually dwarfed by the amount of tax they lose on some of the other taxes that would normally be available to the state if they did not tax bullion, believe it or not. And there are some legitimate studies that show that. So a couple of the representatives this year understood that, and some of the agencies that were involved with the lobbying of that got that basically message across to them that, hey, first of all, a lot of people didn't agree with the tax. That this type of item should have a sales and use tax on it.
Well, I was one of those people.
A lot of people were. But second of all, they showed them that taxing, losing the industry all the way from coin events, coin shows, getting tax on hotel rooms where you have large shows coming to states. I mean, a lot of the major coin shows avoided states that had tax on bullion. So there's a lot of lost revenue that indirectly was affected by taxing bullion, not just the fact that you're getting a little bit of tax on what you sell in state, but you're losing more tax on some of the ancillary things that surrounded bullion sales, which meant not getting major shows, businesses leaving, businesses having less personnel for payroll taxes.
So it wasn't as, the benefit wasn't there I guess, like they anticipated. I mean,
Right.
they
I mean, you
didn't-
just do the math and say, well, you take the sales of bullion in the state, multiply it by 8%, and say we could bring in this much extra tax. Well, that's fine, except then now you have to start deducting the amount of tax you're losing on
right.
stores that leave the state, stores that reduce personnel, lost coin shows, lost revenue on taxes that you would get through hotel rooms,
Right.
lodging, gasoline, everything. And essentially there wasn't not enough sales to offset all of that.
Right,
in terms
that makes
of,
a lot
and
of
then
sense.
a lot of the sales left the state. I mean, a lot of people would go to neighboring states and buy their bullion, so you weren't even getting the tax on the bullion.
So because I know we got the coin show coming up here at the end of the month,
Right,
right
the
there in
Sharonville
Sharonville. So
coin
that should-
show's coming
maybe
up.
more
That's-
people might be there this
That's
time.
a major coin show in Ohio right now, one of the major coin shows, at least in this area. And we do have regular coin shows in the area, but the huge coin shows, the fun shows and things like that that normally are down in Florida. I mean, sometimes some of the bigger shows will rotate some through. And we've had some nice shows here in Cincinnati in the past, but hopefully they'll come back, and that would be a great thing.
It would be a great
for
thing.
the city. It would be a great thing for Ohio, and I think that it was a smart move, and I applaud everyone that worked on that, not just within the last few months, but from the start of 2019 till today, when it's finally is in writing that we're not going to have the tax.
Right, and I remember
yes.
when it first happened, I was in here and we talked about it. I know you were a big part in joining the group of people that was trying to get that changed.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time, money, and effort to try to get it vetoed last time. It just didn't work out, and we lived with it. Everybody got through it, and I hope that people understood that it might have diminished a little bit. It might have diminished about 7% of your total sales in terms of, what you could collect. You could maybe budget 7% less or whatever, but I hope it didn't stop anybody from trying to accumulate silver. That's not the reason to stop buying silver.
Right. I mean, it hurt a little bit. Like I told you, that 100-ounce bar I bought and did the math on that. Well, I think I bought it from like J.M. Bullion or something like that. But you just got to keep stacking. I mean, you got to keep doing.
Right,
you got to keep putting that silver in there. Adjust your budget, like I did. Adjust your strategy, and just
You
just
do,
keep
but
buying
you can't make
accordingly.
somebody else's decisions alter what you are attempting to do.
Right.
And like you say, if you simply reduce your amount of purchases by 7% to compensate for that, you can still stay within your budget. Yeah, you get a little less silver, but I'd rather be in that position today. I'd rather still have 2 years of buying silver than waiting 2 years for this to come off. You have nothing if you've stopped buying silver because of the sales tax.
Right.
You have something at least where over the last 2 years you've still accumulated some silver.
Right.
So,
and that's what I try to do. And I think a lot of the viewers to my channel did the same thing. A few people said, well, I'd like to wait and see what's going to happen. But of course, you see what's happening now. Premiums. If you had bought even with the sales tax, you're getting a better deal if you bought back then when it first started.
Yes.
Than now, as far as the premiums go. So that's a good example.
and you
right there,
never
not to
know.
stop.
I mean, you never know what silver's going to do. You never know where it's headed. And whatever it is, if you buy an ounce a week or 10 ounces a week or whatever it is, you have to, I think, just if you want to accumulate silver, just make the attempt to stick to what you want to buy, whatever amount of money you want to spend in a week, buy whatever silver that will buy, whether silver's up or down, and keep moving on. Because
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, and when I say that, I mean 10, 20, 30 years from now, you'll look back and you'll have an asset that will have some value.
Absolutely will.
I think businesses as usual. Like we said before, when taxes in effect, business as usual. When taxes go out of effect, no more, the exemption goes into effect, business as usual.
Business
so
as
you have to
usual,
just
right.
kind of keep your nose to the grindstone and do business as usual. And like I say, don't let the effects of what other people's decisions affect what you're trying to do on your personal level in terms of accumulating silver or accumulating gold or whatever it is.
Exactly.
To me, it's a matter of you making the decision to move forward on your own, whatever goals you put ahead of you. There always will be obstacles. Sales tax was an obstacle, but if you work through it, you're better off for it.
Absolutely. I mean, these things are going to come.
Yes.
It's best to just adjust to it because you'll be better off in the long run when you do that.
Yeah.
Don't let any of these obstacles stop you. I guess
Right.
that's the moral of it.
Basically, I mean, we try to control it a little bit by, again, the lobbying and the money we pour into making sure people understand that make legislation, that they understand what harms them and what doesn't harm them. But at the same time, the decision really is out of our hands in terms of making the final decision. So we can only show what's going to happen and let them make the decision. This time I think they made the right decision.
Right.
But again, it's not our decision to make. And I think you're better off with understanding that your goal is more important than the decisions other people make. And
that's a good point.
Whatever goal you're heading for, yeah, sometimes there'll be obstacles. Sometimes you have to hop over it, go around it, do something. But keep your eye on the goal. And I think over time, you'll look back and appreciate the fact that you kept your eye on the goal and don't let somebody knock you off stride on that.
That's good. Okay, so I got to ask, before I let you go, I got to ask you, what is the chances of this coming back? I mean, because if he didn't get rid of it altogether, he just didn't include it in this.
Yeah, I mean, there could always be separate. I mean, legislation happens year round, so there, if somebody really felt that this was a requirement, they could introduce legislation tomorrow to bring, but I don't foresee that, because I think the true story was finally told. The fact that you're losing more money by collecting tax, believe it or not, on all the other types of taxes that you lose. You're losing more money by taxing bullion than having it exempt from tax and then collecting all the additional taxes that are surrounding the bullion sales and the bullion industry in the state of Ohio.
Well, that explains it right there. That's perfect. I think that's what people want to hear.
Once that gets through and they understand that, it's like, well, you kind of, the saying is, well, you bite your...
you cut off your nose to spite your face.
That's what it is, yeah.
And that sounds like exactly what they did, but they learned from it, which I guess that's the
and other states have learned from it, and I think what we're seeing is that as some states understand that and some states follow suit, the turnaround, I think, becomes minimal as we go forward here. I don't believe we're going to revisit it. I really don't.
Well, thank you very much, Phil. Appreciate your time, and I'm gonna see if I can take some of these off your hands. You know, thank you.
Might as well.
All right, so that clears it up for me. I mean, so the governor really didn't do anything proactively. He just didn't renew the tax, which is good. There's a line in there, obviously, that they just removed, and so it didn't get renewed for this next budget season. So that's a good thing. We don't have to pay that 7% tax. That's fantastic. According to Phil, and I think I agree with him, it failed. I mean, the amount of money that they thought they were going to earn from the tax was minuscule compared to the revenue they lost with implementing this tax, with people going to other states and buying their bullion there. Of course, why wouldn't they? Coin shows not coming to Ohio, and we have a bunch of nice coin shows that come to Ohio that suffered not just because of the pandemic, but also because of the sales tax, where people were like, why would I go to a coin show in Ohio where I'm going to be taxed 7% on the exact same bullion items that I can buy in the next state without paying that tax? And so that hurt. It hurt local hotel and restaurant businesses that kind of benefit from the coin shows when they come. So a lot of that's going to benefit us in the future, and I'm glad that the governor and those representatives that's been lobbied hard by our local bullion dealers here. That's why I think it's a good idea to support your local coin stores, your local coin dealers, because they are part of these kind of things. And I'm sure, yes, it benefits them. It's not lost on me that Phil is a salesman. I mean, that's how he makes his money. That's how he pays for his children's college and all these other kind of things that financial things that he has to do. So, that's not lost on me that he's selling bullion, but also he's helped me out a lot and several other people's. And obviously I'm not the only person that feels this way, because as you can hear in the background of the conversation we had, his store is always full. There's always people in there buying and selling. Anyway, so, I just wanted to share that with you guys. So if you're in Ohio, or anybody in Ohio that has to pay that tax, they can breathe a sigh of relief, because in October we no longer have to pay that. And then I can put a few more ounces of silver in my stack, which is a good thing. It's always a good thing. But, we don't let things stop us. We just adjust, we improvise, we do what we got to do to keep that silver flowing in our stack, because we know ultimately it's going to benefit us far more than the hardships that we must face getting it in our stacks now. So anyway, You know, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up really helps my channel out. If you want to see more, subscribe, ring that bell, be notified as soon as I put out another video. And, you know, let's just look out for each other. The silver train is rolling. You know, the silver train is rolling. All you need to do is show up and you got a ticket to ride. And 30,000 subscribers, giveaway. I've already picked out what I'm going to give away. I think you guys will enjoy it. It's my way to give back to you guys supporting my channel over these years and kind of inspiring me to do the things that I do. So I want to give back. So I got a giveaway coming. So 30,000 subscribers, giveaway. Anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Keep stacking. Peace.